All right, you guys, back at you with another 2021 NFL draft prospect for you on today. And we're going to talk about quarterback Jamie Newman, who I think is one of the most interesting and under the radar guys, or you can say very intriguing prospects to come into this draft class. Definitely, there's a lot of things to like about this kid, but then there's some things that he needs to work on before he gets up with the big boys in the NFL. So definitely, I want to talk about him, take a deep dive into the player Jamie Newman. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, Jamie Newman, definitely, man, he's very intriguing, and he's intriguing because of so many things. Jamie Newman has only played in a limited amount of games in college, and he played in about 19 games, and I believe he started like 16 of those games. Now, in his freshman season, he completed 2 passes for 8 yards and 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. His sophomore season came back, kind of had a little better season, and completed 141 passes for 1,083 yards and 9 touchdowns. And then he also ended up having 4 interceptions. Now, in his junior season, that was one of his best seasons in college football. He ended up having 220 completed passes for 2,868 yards with 26 touchdowns in the air and 11 interceptions. And then in his senior season, he opted not to play. Now, I know you don't know the story on him, but pretty much he was supposed to be a Georgia Bulldog. And I believe if Jamie Newman had the opportunity to play for Georgia, he was going to compete for that starting role with JT Daniels because pretty much they lost Jake Fromm to the NFL. He got drafted by the Buffalo Bills, and it was going to bring competition. But he elected not to play because of safety protocols. And I don't know if that really hampered him, but I know it would have probably pretty much gave us another look at Jamie Newman. It would have gave us more footage, and he probably would have been in a better offense with the Georgia Bulldogs instead of Wake Forest. But what we do have, we can kind of make an assessment and kind of look at the things that the intangibles that he brought to the game. Now, one thing I want to talk about, I want to get into his strengths and weaknesses, what he was good at, and things that definitely he needs to work on. Now, the thing that I want to say about Jamie Newman first is his size. He has a prototypical size for a quarterback in the NFL. He has a great size, and a lot of people look at that size. He's a big guy. He's a good athlete. He's a physical runner out there. He's not a burner like Lamar Jackson. He's not going to give you all of that. He's not going to be out there breaking huge runs like that, but he's a guy that can run the football, and that's something that you like. He has that dual threat ability, and also he ended up rushing in college in that junior season. He rushed over like 500-something yards. So he's capable of running with that football and doing some damage with the football on the ground. But his first thing first, he wants to be able to throw that football first before he takes off. And that's something that I like about Jamie Newman, is that he's a guy that's going to stand in the pocket first before he tucks and runs with the football. He has a very, very strong arm. To me, guys, he has one of the best back shoulder throws in the NFL. And that's one of the that's a lot of information to know about this kid, is that he definitely can make a lot of throws. And that back shoulder throw is one of his best balls. He throws the deep ball pretty well. And his leadership, his solid leadership, and the intangibles that he brings to the game is going to be something that a lot of teams may bite on. Now, it's very intriguing about him because a lot of people may not know who Jamie Newman is, and they're not talking about him as much. He's not going to get the press like the other quarterbacks like Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and Justin Fields and Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, and also Trevor Lawrence. He's not going to get that type of run, but I still think that this guy is a dark horse candidate, and he could possibly be a solid pickup. He's a guy that I see and I look at that can be groomed in the National Football League. He can sit behind a guy for at least 2 to 3 years, learn, and eventually when his time comes, he'll be able to shine, because I definitely think that he has the physical tools and the traits to get it done in the NFL. NFL definitely like big body quarterbacks. When you're 6'3", 6'4", they kind of salivate over those type of quarterbacks rather so than a short quarterback. But at the same time, you got to get into the weaknesses and just talk about some of the things that he needs to work on as well with his mechanics. And that's just being able to get his percentage up on his accuracy. That's one thing that I saw that he definitely needs to bring up when he gets to the NFL. You have to be more accurate with the football, because that's what they're looking for you to be able to hit those targets and be able to complete some of those passes. Now, another thing is his inexperience. He doesn't have a lot of experience as a starting quarterback. He has 16 starts, which is pretty good. It gives you enough film on a guy to kind of understand what type of player he is. But I believe if he got that opportunity to play for Georgia, this guy, we would be talking about Jamie Newman more. And he's one of those guys to me that's a hidden gem in his draft. And you really, really got to just hone in on this guy and just know that he can be one of those guys that can be a hidden gem in his draft and can be a steal on draft night. Now, we won't know until he actually gets into the NFL, it gets drafted by a team, and then eventually you'll get a full synopsis or a look at what type of player Jamie Newman can be. But then there's other things too. Sometimes his footwork is not always there, so that's something that he's going to have to work with too, being able to get his foot set, being able to make sure that he's cleaning those things up, and his mechanics, getting better with his mechanics with throwing the football. That's something that you always need to clean up when you're a quarterback, because definitely when you get to the NFL, it's not going to be any joke. The game is faster, and you got to be able to make your reads. You got to be able to know your progressions, your check downs, and things of that nature. And I think that he will pick up on this stuff. Pretty much also, he holds the ball too long. That's one thing that I noticed as well with Jamie Newman, is that you don't want to continue to hold the ball too long in the pocket. You want to be able to deliver that ball quickly, because the guys in the NFL are going to be coming at you so fast that you're not going to have time to think. So that's some of the things that I see in his game that he needs to clean up. But other than that, guys, I definitely think whatever team drafts Jamie Newman definitely is going to get a guy that can be possibly a hidden gem. Whatever situation that he gets drafted to, hopefully it's a situation where he'll be able to flourish and be able to bring his full skill set to the table. But other than that, guys, I really like Jamie Newman, and I definitely think that this guy could be a hidden gem in the draft. Let me know, guys, what you think about Jamie Newman, and I'll be back to you with another NFL prospect. But until next time, I'll see you. I'm out of here. Peace.